Back with Coach Kevin McMillan, Skyhawk Talk on the University of Tennessee at Martin Skyhawk Sports Network. So, have you paid much attention to the NCAA women's basketball tournament and the WNIT?
Sorta.
Yeah.
I talked to Dayton's coach. Dayton won their first round game. Who'd they beat? In the I can't see that. Chris, are you kidding?
Okay. Yeah,
Dayton beat somebody and then beat Kentucky.
Dayton beat Iowa
State and then they beat
Kentucky.
And Dayton is who we played earlier in the year.
And we lost 78-47.
I texted him right after their first game, and he texted me right back, and we talked for a little while. And then I texted him immediately as soon as they beat Kentucky, because I told him, I said, y'all will beat Kentucky if your kids believe they can do it, kind of the Charles Barkley thing. And he texted me right after the game and was excited. He said it's amazing that, they made it to the Sweet 16, which I think is great for mid-majors.
Yes.
The NCAA just doesn't want mid-majors to do anything, and you can see by the way that they seed them and put them in. George Washington and somebody played in the first round, and they're two mid-majors. Princeton played another mid-major. Maybe that was Princeton and Green Bay play. I mean, why are you putting mid-majors against each other in the,
Which what we've talked about in men's basketball is kind of what makes the NCAA tournament so exciting.
That's
why
what
the Cinderella
stupid.
team is. Yeah.
I mean, we're stupid. The women's basketball, somebody in powers that be is not very smart, because the thing that drives NCAA March Madness is upsets.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely upsets. Take a look at the women's bracket and tell me how many double-digit seeds won a game, and it's like 2.
Right.
And with the men, it's two a bracket. And so until we do some stuff about it, we're not going to get the excitement that the men have and don't deserve it. And I wish that there were more upsets, more chances, and so to help the tournament, we decided to move everything to home sites.
Right, which is even worse.
But yeah, that's gonna make more excitement. That's not gonna solve anything. But
in the WNIT, Ole Miss won over us. They beat Georgia Tech, and now they're set to take on Middle Tennessee in that bracket.
And they beat Ole Miss. I mean, they beat Georgia Tech 13 or 14 points.
63-48.
Which is another telling you, okay, Ole Miss holds Georgia Tech to 48 points. We score 70. I mean, it's just we're capable.
Yeah. And we turned the ball over 19 times.
Yeah, we weren't, but only,
they did too.
Only 5 were in the second half.
Okay.
So we settled down, but that the WNIT is a great tournament, and I think Ole Miss between Ole Miss and Middle, I mean, we're right there. I mean, we're right. But go back. I did look at this. Out of 32 home games, I think it was 25 home. Out of the first round of 32 games, 25 home teams won.
Wow.
Out of the second round, it was like out of the 16, it was like 13 or something like that.
If you have to put I've heard coaches say a home court advantage is worth a certain amount of points, and I guess it depends on venue to venue, but what's a number you would put on being at home?
Oh, Lord, if you look at ours, it's like 20. I mean, because we'll beat somebody 25 at home and they 5 it on the road. It just depends, and I think that, but I do know that in the postseason, playing at home is huge. I mean, it's just you can't put a price tag on it, and that's why I think look at Ole Miss and Middle playing. Well, they both hosted the first 2 rounds.
Right.
The team that hosts is still playing on, and I think that's such a big deal in any time in the postseason.
Yeah, and I guess that's a part of the postseason should probably not be at home, or if it.
Well, I don't really mind it being at home sites as long as it's a good crowd and a good atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is, and hopefully that I guess our men are the not the rule. They're what do you call it? The exception to the rule, because they've gone on the roll twice and won.
Just got a note: 8th seeded Princeton's trailing Maryland by 4 at the half. So.
I hope Princeton wins. I mean, how do you make a team that goes 30-0, that has big wins over the BCS schools? You make them an 8 seed so that their second round they're going to play a 1. I mean, who's doing this stuff? I mean, I think Allie could do a better job if she just drew him out of a hat.
Can we get you on the committee?
Yes, and I hear this all the time. Well, if you get on the committee, you'll see that everything goes. Don't give me that. I mean, that you can't put Princeton as an 8 seed. They're 13th ranked in 2 polls.
Mm-hmm.
You put 3 teams ahead of them. That when you compare like teams, I think Ohio State played Michigan State, something like that, and I'm making this up, but I know it's something like this. They look at that. Well, Ohio State gets a 5 seed. They beat Michigan State by 4. Well, Princeton beat them 30.
Right.
And Princeton gets an 8 seed. And you're penalizing Princeton for the league that they're in. If you look around and see, look, they beat everybody. And then the teams that would play them, all the big schools have to do is just not play them.
Right.
We just won't play you because you're good. That way you can't get a good seed and have a chance to win the tournament.
Freeze them out.
And that's what people do. And anyway, powers that be.
Let's talk about our team. Asia Jones finishes the season nationally ranked as the number 4 scorer in the country at 23.4 points per game.
I mean, she had a great year. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. I mean, we went through all year long. We gave her the ball. You got to give a lot of credit to Katie Schubert for getting her the basketball. Jessie Ward for getting her the basketball. You have people that are cleaning up on the backside, rebounding, Mo and Tiara. You've got Charisma Tyson making threes out there, and everything goes into it. But the way we play and the way we've always played is we figure out what we do best, and then we'll just keep doing it. And Asia was what we did best this year, and we kept giving her the ball.
I wasn't surprised. Assist-to-turnover ratio with Katie Schubert moving to the point for most of the season. She's 27th in the country, and if you take away, I think, the Austin Peay game where she had a lot of turnovers in that game, she's probably in the teens.
She's probably there, yeah. And think about that. You're taking Katie is in the top in the country in that category.
Yeah.
And last year she was in the top in three-point shooting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she is a versatile kid who basically just says, hey, what do we need to do to win? Tell me what we need to do, and that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I'm so proud of her about.
And I thought in the second half she handled Ole Miss. There was a turnover she made in the first half against Ole Miss, and she knew she had made a mistake and just misread what was happening.
And she was mad.
Yes.
And if you really look back at it, I don't know that she turned. She had that pressure in her face the whole game, and she didn't turn it over that much.
Right.
I mean, she just is solid. Now, she's not going to blow by you. She's not going to do anything pretty. Sorry, Katie, but she's just gonna be there, and I think that was huge for us and huge for our team throughout the year.
And the other mark that surprised me a little bit is Jessie Ward, who was 33rd in the country in three-point field goals per game at 2.64 a game, and shot 40% from three-point range, which was 34th in the country. Both of those numbers were first in the OVC. And I didn't realize that she was that accurate from outside the three-point line. I know she had some good games. She had other games where she was more quiet, and she was just consistent statistically.
Well, the thing where she struggled a little bit was we didn't have the people around her that could get her shots.
Yes.
If she plays with Butler and Newsome, who are penetrating and kicking and
She's
drawing
like
two
Katie.
defenders, she's going to shoot an unbelievable percentage. Most of those you got to give her credit for. Most of this was knowing that you're going to get that attention,
Right.
and still being able to shoot that kind of percentage. So she did a good job, but she can do much better. And that's not to say this wasn't good. It's just she needs better players around her to help make her better.
You also, in the Ohio Valley Conference, you were number 1 in assists per game at 15. That's probably because you made a lot of shots, but you got to be proud of the way your team distributes the ball. For a Coach McMillan team, it's not anything new.
No, I mean, that's how we play. And, we're going to share the ball. We're going to move it wherever it needs to be for good shots. And when we find where it needs to be going, we'll keep doing it, and we'll do it over and over and over and over and over. What's nice is you don't worry about stats when you're going on in the season, but when the season ends and you look down, and I can't see, Chris, but I think this says first. And, you're doing something right when you're first in a lot of different categories. And
both defensively and offensively,
Well,
you're
was my
second in
next
the
thing.
league in steals.
That's my next thing
Yeah.
is that defensively we're up there in a lot of categories. And, we think we're going to get better. We think this was our year where we said, you better get us. And truth of the matter is nobody did. Tennessee State beats us in overtime in the conference tournament. But besides that, nobody beat us in the regular season, which none of us saw coming. We think we're going to be better. Now, better doesn't mean 16-0,
Right.
Because anything can happen. But we think we're going to be a better basketball team going forward, and that hopefully is going to be scary.
Of the teams that you have coached at UT Martin, which this was your 6th season, where did this team rank defensively?
Defensively,
Yeah.
probably. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look. The first year's team was by far the best defensive team.
You had to
because we held the ball. We just figured
So they can't
if
score
we've
if you
got
got
it,
the
you
ball.
can't score. And so they were the best defensive team. After that, we were really bad 2 years after that. I think our best team may have been the third one that we had. The second one that
Okay.
won a championship may have been our best defensive team. But last year's team was good.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really good. But this one wasn't bad either.
No.
I mean, this one was much more versatile. Like our 1-3-1 was good, and our press was good, and our man was good. Last year, it wasn't that way.
You had to go 1-3-1 because you said you couldn't play man-to-man to save your life.
That was 2 years ago.
Well, I didn't understand that because you had decent athletes on the team.
Yeah, I don't know, but everybody drove straight by us and shot layups. Drove straight by us and shot layups. I think they thought, hey, don't we score more when we got the ball? So hey, let them score so we can have it back.
And even in your 1-3-1 this year, it is. I assume that Newsome and Butler are two of the quickest players you're ever going to have. But you handled it at the top and at the bottom because I don't know how.
That's our size. It made people have to throw it farther over the top of people, which gave people better or more time to get there. So I think that's had a lot to do with it. We need a little more quickness, which we think we have coming. But you never know how a team's going to mesh. You just never have a clue. We are returning 5 starters next year, and we were talking about the other day. We could start the same 5, or we could start 2 or 3 or 4 new kids. I mean, you have no idea going in how everything's going to mesh. And one team may have been really good at the press, and you add 2 quicker kids, and it gets worse.
Right.
And you don't understand why, but it's about do they understand where to be? Do they understand when to rotate? All the things. Do they know how to cover each other up? Well, if they don't, they could get worse even though they're more athletic.
Part of the success that you had this season has to be attributed to Chelsea Robertson when you put her in the starting lineup.
Well, if you go back to our season and look, when we subbed, I would love to go back and see when she started what our record was because it was really good.
Yeah.
And it was just the kid plays hard. She doesn't care whether she scores or not. I mean, you put people like that in the game or in my teams, we tend to be very good. We need kids out there that don't care. They don't care who gets the glory. They don't care. And when you get a team full of those, you got a chance to be something special. And Chelsea came out and really, really, really was selfless and really helped the team.
And she does a lot of different things, as you said. I think we had her as the MVP or the player of the game in the Ole Miss game.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, she was everywhere. She was guarding one of their best players. She made a couple of threes. She got some stick back. I mean, it was just little things. And the funniest one was the chest bump with her and Jesse. I still hope somebody got that. I still hope that's on film somewhere. Somebody's got a picture of it because it looked like 2 people that don't know how to chest bump trying to learn to chest bump, but they were funny. They were funny.
School.
But you love the excitement that they had.
Let's talk about your schedule this year. 7 different states, 12 conferences, 4 NCAA tournament qualifiers, 7 teams which have seen action in postseason play. You traveled nearly 6,000 miles and completed your 33-game schedule. You put it all together in one sentence. It's a lot different than what you did between November and last week.
What's a lot different?
Well, it just sounds simple.
It
sounds simple. I mean, it's like you're simplifying
Makes it.
Yeah. Where in reality, 6,000 miles is a grueling process, especially in November when you're really hopping all over the place.
Yeah, having to get to Iowa and back and getting to Louisville and being home for a day and getting on the bus and going somewhere else. I mean, it's hard. I mean, we're just having trouble scheduling. And this year and next year's going to be no exception. We're having trouble again. But we're going to do the same thing we always do. Next year's schedule right now today, which is not in stone, has got Vanderbilt, Louisville, Iowa, Alabama, Cincinnati, Illinois, Chattanooga, Arkansas State.
Wow.
I mean, I can keep Samford, da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Who's coming here?
Alabama will be here. Samford will be here. Arkansas State will be here. Miami of Ohio will be here. I don't know who else.
Okay, that's
Vanderbilt is going to be a home and home, so they'll be here the next year.
Okay.
And I don't know that they're coming or not because Balcom said she'd never be back after the last time we played, and the guy said, "Oh yeah, that date will work great for us." I said, "Okay, let's put it in stone." So I don't know. I don't know if he's quite taken it to her yet, but that's just what we do. That's who we play, and that we think that's the formula for us to be the best we can at the end of the year. Maybe we need to change it, but I don't know. I don't know what to do if we're going to change it.
It looks good to me.
Yeah, so far.
Final thoughts. This is our last Skyhawk Talk of the season. What do you want you two Martin fans to know about this season and next year?
Well, I said it after the game. We take the floor trying to make the university, our fans, proud of what we do, and we want them to be, kind of like our parents, and proud of what their kids have accomplished. And we hope next year's no different, and we hope that we can continue to build on it. And we hope that our expectations don't change, that should we lose again, everybody will be upset like we are. But hope that we can put ourselves in a position to have a chance to win it again.
Okay, that's Coach Kevin McMillan. More coming up with Coach Heath Schroyer. Skyhawk Talk continues on the UT Martin Skyhawk Sports Network.
What does it mean to add refreshing Coke